Chapter 2. The Greatest Cheater of All Time. If we knew who the greatest cheater of all time was, he wouldn't be the greatest one any damned longer. Mountain quipped to the press after sinking a short putt to win his first major professional golf tournament, the U.S. Open. The press had been asking him about allegations of his cheating at both golf and life for the last decade. He was the man they loved to hate, or perhaps the man they hated to love. But now, as a newly crowned champion of golf, the scrutiny would be even greater. Truth be told, Mountain was addicted to more than just a few illicit substances. He also was addicted to women, and passionately addicted to winning too. In order to maintain all of these many addictions, all Mountain really had to do was develop yet another one, an addiction to cheating. But as Mountain stood amidst the lush greenery of the golf course, he could now feel the weight of his deceit pressing down upon him like a leaden cloak. For his victories were not merely the result of skill and talent. They were the product of a carefully orchestrated web of lies and deception, woven with the precision of a master craftsman. The rumors of his cheating had become legendary in the world of professional golf, a tale whispered in hushed tones among fans, the golfing press, players and officials alike. From bribing officials to tampering with equipment, there seemed to be no limit to the depths of Mountain's depravity. But perhaps his most audacious gambit of all had been his use of Vaseline on his club's face, a simple yet devastatingly effective tactic that had allowed him to eliminate the dreaded slice from his game almost entirely. With a deft flick of the wrist and a liberal application of the viscous substance, Mountain had transformed himself from a mere mortal into a god among men, across the most elite of tee boxes around the world, his every shot a testament to both his mastery of the game and his willingness to do whatever it took to win. Yet, even as the world marveled at his golfing prowess, there were whispers in the shadows, murmurs of dissent that threatened to topple his empire of lies. From cheating on drug tests to providing false information about other players' scores, Mountain's sins were many and varied, each one a dagger aimed at the heart of his newly found legacy. But for now, at least, the world remained mostly enthralled by his brilliance, blinded by the brightness of his smile, his everyman beer belly, and the sparkle of his eyes. And as long as he remained one step ahead of the game, Mountain Cap would secretly reign supreme as the greatest cheater of all time, his legend cloaked in the annals of history for eternity. His antics went far beyond those of the spitballers of baseball, the steroid-injecting professional football players, and the high stickers of the hockey realms. His cheating was more impactful, but much less noticeable, than a soccer player using his hands. The depravity of his cheating made basketball's most hard-charging double dribblers look like they were engaged in child's play. But for Mountain Cap, this was a time well worth a celebration. As the champagne flowed like a river of effervescence, and the laughter danced around them like fireflies in the night, Mountain Cap and his two closest friends, Austin Graff and Johnny Pulaski, soon boarded their chartered plane to Spanish Wells, Bahamas, ready to paint the island red, or perhaps a more fitting shade of victory green. Austin, with his meticulously groomed appearance and aura of sportsmanship, was the yin to Mountain's yang, the straight-laced golfing prodigy to Mountain's renegade spirit. They had become friends in college, where Austin was captain of the golf team by the end of his sophomore year. The two were like a pair of mismatched socks, seemingly incongruous, yet oddly complementary. Austin was 2 years older than Mountain, and always more than a little bit wiser. In some ways, he was like a big brother to Mountain. Now, as they settled into their plush leather seats aboard their chartered airplane, Mountain couldn't help but wonder if Austin secretly now harbored a twinge of envy beneath his polished exterior, a nagging suspicion that his own professional golf triumphs would now soon be forgotten in the wake of Mountain's meteoric rise to fame. And then there was Johnny Pulaski, the proverbial wild card in their deck of friendship. With his devil-may-care attitude and hankering for mischief, Johnny was like a hurricane in human form, leaving chaos and confusion in his wake. Yet, for all of his many faults, Johnny possessed an irrepressible charm that was as infectious as it was unpredictable. Mountain often found himself torn between exasperation and admiration for his friend's audacity, wondering how someone so incorrigible could also be so very endearing. Johnny was Mountain's oldest friend. He grew up in the back of a bowling alley on the seedy side of Beanfield. His mother was known to be good with a knife, and his father was known to be a darn good bar fighter, and often bragged about liking to hear bones crunch. Mountain found Johnny's parents to be both cool and odd. They were the kind of couple you were glad didn't live next door to you, but you still kind of wanted to vacation with. As the plane soared through the clouds, leaving behind the hustle and bustle of the U.S. mainland in its wake, Mountain couldn't shake the feeling of exhilaration coursing through his veins like an electric current. He was on top of the world, or at least cruising at a comfortable altitude somewhere above it. Soon Johnny would propel the three friends slightly higher as he reached into his overly worn blue jeans and pulled out more psychedelic mushrooms than anyone could have guessed could fit in his dirty-ass pockets. Upon their arrival in Spanish Wells, the trio wasted no time diving headfirst into the festivities, like children unleashed in a candy store with no adult supervision in sight. The island, with its pink and white beaches and crystalline waters, was their playground, a paradise waiting to be explored and conquered. Golf carts became their trusty steeds as they roamed the island in the same manner as the other tourists, their laughter echoing off the palm trees like a chorus of mischievous sprites. The locals, with their easy smiles and laid-back demeanor, welcomed them with open arms, indulging their every whim both with the patience of saints and the wisdom of sages. Johnny, ever the provocateur, decided that driving a golf cart into the ocean was the epitome of island adventure, a feat of daring that would make even the most seasoned daredevil pause in awe. As the cart plunged into the azure depths, sending waves crashing around them, Mountain couldn't help but marvel at the sheer audacity of his friend's antics, wondering if perhaps there was a method to Johnny's madness after all. As the night wore on, and the stars painted the sky with their celestial brushstrokes, Mountain found himself caught in a whirlwind of revelry and reflection. Here he was, surrounded by friends and adulation, yet a sense of discontent gnawed at the edges of his consciousness, a reminder that even amidst the glitz and glamour, there were shadows lurking in the corners, just waiting to be explored. But for now, in this moment suspended in time, Mountain Cap was content to bask in the warmth of friendship and the glow of victory, knowing that no matter where life's journey took him, he would always have Austin, Johnny, and the drunken memories of mayhem and debauchery they shared to light the way. As Mountain woke up on the beach the next morning, he wondered if the puke on his tournament-winning golf shirt was his own or someone else's. He wondered about his past and when he became such a scoundrel, and his memory drifted back to his days as a caddy at Shady Pines in Beanfield, Illinois.